Today we're with Peter Yantzer, who is the Executive Director of the American Gem Society Laboratory. He's one of the guiding forces in a lot of the research that's been done on diamond cutting in the last few years, and he has graciously agreed to spend a few minutes with us today. How are you doing, Peter?
I'm fine, Wink. Thanks for asking me to this little interview. You know, I'm always honored when somebody thinks enough to say, "Well, yeah, we'd like to interview you, Pete."
Well, we'd like to know a little bit of what you know, and I know that one of the things that's near and dear to your heart is a fact that's little discussed. So, what do you think about what should consumers be told about the information that reports from different laboratories are valued differently?
Yeah, that's probably my pet project. You know, I think I'll tell you the entire situation. The entire situation is this: the wholesale diamond industry addresses the quality and consistency of the grading coming from different gemological diamond grading laboratories. They address it via price, and here's how they do it. Let's say if you're in our industry, you can go online to IDEX or Rappaport.net or Polygon.net, and you can actually look at diamonds and see how much they're being offered for sale for. And typically, this is what you'll find. You'll find that you can look up a 1 carat VS2 H color diamond, and with or without a cut grade, but let's just say it has a cut grade of ideal. And you can see that if it is being offered with a report from what I always call a top tier lab, and I'm proud to be part of a top tier lab, the American Gem Society Laboratory, and GIA is also a top tier lab. And you'll see that that stone is maybe offered for $5,000. However, you can continue to look through the listings at these wholesale websites, and you might find a report from a second or third tier laboratory, and guess what? Specs are identical. 1 carat, H color, VS2, ideal cut, $3,200. So that's how the industry, the wholesale diamond industry, compensates for the accuracy and consistency of reports, diamonds with reports. But there's a huge disconnect, and it involves the retail jewelry industry and the consumer. And here's what happens. Let's say a retail jeweler decides that they can make more money because they buy a diamond that says 1 carat HVS2 ideal, and they buy it with a report from a second or third tier laboratory, and they buy it for $3,200. If they bought the same exact quality diamond with a top tier report, they might have to pay $5,000 for it. So what happens? There's the temptation is this: well, I don't want to buy a diamond for $5,000 because I can only sell it for maybe for $6,000 and I'll make $1,000. But if I buy what consumers will perceive as the same quality with a second or third tier report for $3,200 and I can sell it for $6,000, I just made $2,800. So it's a problem. It's a big problem because consumers have no way to find out how the prices of diamonds as they're traded with reports from different laboratories, and there are unscrupulous or ignorant, but I don't mean the word ignorant in a negative viewpoint. They're just untrained. Even retail jewelers will say, "Oh, a laboratory report's a laboratory report. It doesn't matter which lab it is; they're all the same." You know, but there are people that know the difference between how diamonds are priced with reports from different laboratories. And the crime is this: is that when a guy buys a diamond for a very, very inexpensive price with a report from a lower tier or second, third, fourth tier laboratory, but then represents it as being a top tier laboratory and therefore worth this amount of money, the consumer is the one that really gets the short end of the stick.
Well, and as a retailer, Peter, my observation is that I will present a stone with a top tier laboratory, and I will be told that I'm overpriced because so-and-so has it, and they're selling that same stone for only $5,000, in which case they're still making $1,800 and making those jewelers who do play ethically by the rules look bad. And that's where that is, as a retailer, an important issue to me. But there are still those, as you said, that try to sell it for the whole $6,000, but most of them try to use that price and beat up on those of us who are quote unquote playing nice.
Yeah, and consumers, you run as a retailer selling diamonds with reports from a top tier laboratory. You run into competition from your fellow retailers that either are not as well educated or as expert as you are in your business, and or are unethically representing their diamonds. So the consumer loses in the long run. You may have lost sales in the past because of it. So what's the solution? I have a suggested solution, but go ahead, Wink. See what you have to say.
I'd like to hear your solution, because none of the ones I've tried have worked.
Yeah. Well, I had an idea a while back that I think that if somewhere the public could have access to, like, the idea is like an index. So diamonds with reports from a top tier laboratory may get an index value of 1 or 0.95 or 0.9. And then that would be a positive relationship between the value of that diamond with a report from that laboratory, so that the wholesaler doesn't have to give away the price to the consumer what they're selling the diamond for. It still serves the same purpose. So a second or third or fourth tier laboratory, the index value of diamonds with their reports may be 0.6 or 0.5 or even 0.3. And so therein, the consumer would have access to information that could help them to make really good choices when they buy, so that they don't run across somebody telling them, hey, my diamond's got a report from XYZ laboratory, and they're like the world leaders in Asia, for example. Just make up a story, you know. And because of that, you know, I can't make as much money on this diamond, but I'm going to give you a great deal, and I'm going to sell it to you for $5,500, just like the example you used. And probably for me telling everybody about this is that, you know, there are going to be a lot of people in our industry that are going, why is Peter Yantzer telling everybody about this? Because guess what? I believe in doing the next right thing, and that is a situation that is unacceptable in my opinion.
Thank you. I agree completely.